There's a brand new challenger taking on Skool, and the buzz is absolutely insane. But is GoKollab the actual Skool killer that everybody thinks it is, or is it just a bunch of hype? Well, you're about to find out. After doing a quick search on YouTube, I found that most of the videos that are talking about this subject are lying to you. So you're either going to find videos from high-level affiliates or Skool affiliates, and they're going to try to convince you that their platform is better. Well, over the past 6 months, I've grown my Skool community to over 13K MRR, and I also won first place in the Skool games in December for affiliates. But I also attended the event where GoHighLevel launched, and I'm actually one of the first 20 members on GHL. Well, I absolutely love both of these tools, so I'm going to give you an honest, no BS answer to the question, GoKollab versus Skool. I'm going to compare these two platforms head to head, and I'm going to give you my opinion on which of these platforms is better now and which one could be better in the future. Now, if you'd like to get access to our Community Launch Secrets course, where I'm going to show you how to launch a brand new community and get your first 100 members in just 10 days, then I'm going to drop a link in the description so you can click on that link, you can join our free community and get instant access. Now let's jump into the video and let's compare GoKollab for GHL communities versus Skool so that you can determine which of these apps is best choice for you. All right, so we're going to start with the desktop apps and then we'll take a look at the mobile apps a little bit later for both these platforms. So I'm going to go to GoKollab.com, I'm going to go to Skool, and I'm going to act like I'm landed on these two platforms for the first time, and we're just going to compare and contrast what we see, okay? So one thing that I want to point out is that if you do not have to have a high-level account to create a community on GoKollab. This is a totally separate app that's similar to how Skool works, where you can create a community, there's discovery, and all the search features that come with it, okay? Now, if you do have a high-level account and you have created your communities inside of memberships and communities, then you can come into the GoKollab marketplace, and then you can select those communities to add them to GoKollab so that when people search in GoKollab, they can find your community. But I just wanted to make that distinction that these two are totally separate, GoKollab and GoHighLevel, but they can be connected. All right, so let's first take a look around the GoKollab homepage. So if I take a look here, the first thing that I see when I land on the page is I get the option to create a free community. We'll do that in just a second. I can do a search for different courses and communities. We'll also test that out in just a second. If I scroll down the page here, you'll see that the communities that are currently in GoKollab are ranked purely on the number of members. So the number one community is the one with the most members, the number two is the second most members, and so on. So that's a pretty limited ranking system. There's no other algorithm in place right now to rank your communities. You just have to have the most members. So that's kind of limited. Now, there seems to be a wide variety of topics that people are covering inside of high-level communities. You can see dinner table family, so this is raising kids. We've got real estate agents in Dubai. We've got the tax-free clubs. I'm assuming that's helping you not pay taxes. We've got the Dharma life community, so kind of spiritual. So that's good. There's a lot of variety of topics, and I think that's important when it comes to these different community platforms to bring more traffic to the communities. So if I come back up to the top here and I do a search, let's just say hobbies, make it pretty category specific. We've only got one that actually brings up hobbies. So if I do like pickleball, let's try pickleball, which I would consider a hobby. We've got one pickleball. So it can't really identify categories currently. It has to have specific keywords in there, which I also think is very limited. Now, over on the right-hand side here, we can also kind of toggle between all courses and communities. So if I go back and just delete that keyword, I can now toggle and just look at courses only, or I can look at communities only, or I can look at all, both courses and communities. So that's basically the first thing that I'm going to see when I land on the GoKollab homepage. Let's go and check out Skool now. All right, so here is Skool's discovery feature. You're going to see that this looks very similar to GoKollab. We can search for different keywords to find communities that we're interested in. We can create our own community. So this is very important to point out that Skool communities are not free. You're going to have to pay $99 per month per community that you start on Skool. But a little birdie did come out and tell me that they might be coming out with a much cheaper option very, very soon, which is going to be huge for people that run like a free to paid community model like we teach in our program. Now, if I scroll down the feed here, you're also going to notice a few things that are very interesting. First of all, you're going to notice that there's a much wider variety of topics than you're going to see when you go to the homepage of GoKollab. And this is done intentionally. I talked with Sam Ovens at the Skool games, And he really wants a platform that's very diverse with communities across a wide range of niches and not just bro marketers, because with the marketing niche, that's only going to hit a certain market. And if you have a platform that has a wider variety of topics, then you're going to be able to grow your user base a lot faster. And that's what he's trying to do with this platform. Now, you'll also notice that the ranking system, the algorithm ranking, is very, very different. It's not based purely on the number of members that you have in your community, which is a good thing. In fact, Skool actually gives you some clues on how to improve your rankings in the community search, which is proven to drive traffic and help you to grow your community. So let's actually take a look at what those different ranking factors are. All right, so inside the settings tab of your community, you can find the discovery tab, and this is going to give you some insight into how you can improve your rankings in the discovery feature of Skool. So you can see that you can come in here and you can see if you are showing up in the discovery, what category you're going to be found in, what your rank is. Obviously, I need to improve my rank here, and what language you're going to be found in. So how do you show up in discovery? Well, groups need to have a minimum threshold of members, a minimum threshold of posts, and activity to actually show up in discovery. So you need to hit a minimum set of parameters to actually be able to show up. You also need a group description. So that's going to be the thing that shows up on the right-hand side of your page, right below the cover image. Also, you're going to need to edit your About Us page. You're going to need a description, and you're going to need images on that About Us page, and then a cover image for your community as well. Okay, so that's what you need to do just as a bare minimum to be able to show up in discovery. Now, how do you improve your ranking? Well, groups are ranked by member growth, engagement, and retention. If you can consistently grow your group, get your members to engage, and keep them coming back, then you're going to increase your rank. Okay, now boosts and penalties, let's talk about this. Now, that is how you're going to improve your rank, but to prevent people from gaming the system, Skool has implemented a human in the loop to actually manually review rankings and give boosts and penalties based off what they see. All right, so they can actually boost your ranking, or they can penalize your ranking based off what they're seeing in your community. So how are they going to do that? Well, first of all, you need high quality artwork on your About Us page. You just don't want to slap something up without thinking about it. Have some good quality artwork on your About Us page. You also need to be an interesting niche to be found on the front page. Now, this is what I was talking about before, and that's why you're seeing such a wide variety on that main page of the discovery feature, because they want to have a wide variety of different niches and topics. And if you're in an interesting niche, you've got a much more higher likelihood of ranking inside of on that first page of the discovery. Also, authentic human engagement, not bots and fake accounts. Okay, that's very important. Don't be trying to game the system. Also, you need to be an active owner. You don't need to just not post in the community, not comment. You're going to get penalized for that. You're going to get boosts if you actually are an active owner. All right, so what are the penalties? How are you going to get penalized? Well, using bots or fake accounts, that's kind of obvious. Spam or low quality engagement, so a bunch of spam in your community, then you're going to get penalized for that. Low quality artwork on your About Us page, just slapping some crap up, that's going to penalize you. Payments off platform, this is pretty interesting if you're trying to pay. If you're using GoHighLevel and Skool together, then trying to take the payments off platform, you're going to get penalized by that. Bad customer support, obviously, you should provide great customer support if you're trying to run a business with Skool. And then finally, inactive owner. You're just not active in your community. So Skool also has a much more robust search functionality. So you can come in here, and if I just type in the same keyword that I did in GoKollab, hobbies, you can see we got a bunch of different communities that show up here instead of just one that might have like hobbies in its description or in the title. So that's got a much more robust search functionality. Also, we can kind of filter based on the different categories that we want to look at. We can look at all the communities related to hobbies. We can find all the communities related to spirituality, sports, whatever we want to kind of look into and find those types of communities. Also, we can filter by language. So if I wanted to come in here and find all of the sports related communities that speak Spanish, I could do that. And that's a super helpful function if you are trying to find communities in your niche and you want to join some of those communities, reverse engineer what they're doing, and kind of model that for your own community so you can find what works. So as of now, Skool has a much better discovery feature. It's a lot easier to find different communities that you want to join, or if you want to do some competitor research, it's a lot easier to do that on Skool. Also, you can actually improve your ranking on Skool, and they show you exactly how to do that, as opposed to on GoKollab, where the ranking system is purely based on the number of members inside of your community. So for that reason, Skool wins the search and discovery category. All right, so now let's talk about creating a community in each one of these platforms. So if we go to GoKollab here and we click on create your free community, I can just come in here. I'm logged in to my account already, so I can come in here and I can say UIT test and give it a group name, and then I can also put my group description in, and then I can create a group. So it's very easy to create a group. Now what I can also do is I come into settings and subscriptions, then I can make this community free, or I can connect a payment gateway to make this a paid community. Now the problem is, when you get this free community through the GoKollab app, you cannot add courses. So if I go to learning here and I try to add a course, I can't add a course. Also, you can't use any of the other functionality that comes in GoHighLevel. So you can't use workflows and automations. You can't use the social media planner. If you create a community through the GoKollab app, it's not even connected to your GoHighLevel account, which in my opinion is pretty confusing. So there's also, if you come in here, you go to settings, there's nowhere to upgrade to get the other functionality. So it really doesn't even make sense to create a community through the GoKollab app. If you want to actually create a community that's going to be connected to your GoHighLevel account, you should do that in your GoHighLevel account. So log into your GoHighLevel account, go to memberships, go to groups, and then click add, create a group. I actually have a whole training tutorial on how to use GHL communities. And then once you have your community created, you would add it to the GoKollab marketplace. So I would not create a community in the GoKollab app currently. All right, so to create a community in Skool, it's pretty simple and straightforward. There's really nothing confusing about it. You just come in here, you click create your own. If you're doing this for the first time, you're gonna have to create a login. So you'll get a verification code to the email address that you use. You'll verify the account, and then you'll come here, you'll give your group a name, so Ron Group. You'll put in your credit card information, and then you can start your 14-day free trial. You will get the full feature set that's available in Skool, so there's nothing hold back like there is in GoKollab. You can also have a free or a paid community. And the only difference is GoKollab is free, but it's not connected to GoHighLevel unless you create your communities in GoHighLevel. With Skool, you have to pay $99 a month. But like I said, I heard from a little birdie that they are coming out with a much cheaper option that's going to help you to get in a little bit cheaper and run that free to paid model. So like I said, I would not create my community in the GoKollab app. I actually would log into GoHighLevel, create my communities there, and then add it to the GoKollab app. And because that process is so confusing and Skool is much more streamlined and much easier to set up your communities, then I'm giving the win to Skool for the user friendliness of creating communities. All right, so now let's talk about navigating between your communities you're part of. Okay, so on the desktop app, if you go to GoKollab.com, once you're logged in, you can actually come over here to the left-hand side and you can switch between the different communities you're a part of. And so you can kind of go through here and choose the ones you want to go to. Now, once inside your community, you also have this option. So you have the drop down here where you can switch between the different communities. Also, you can pin your favorite to the sidebar and they'll show up over here on the left-hand sidebar. Now, this is a huge update for GoKollab. The login process for your different communities was an absolute nightmare previously because you had to go in, you had to log in every time you wanted to go to a different community, and it was just a really bad user experience. So I'm glad they fixed this. This is a big one. And now this is for desktop only. I'll show you a little bit later if this actually works on mobile. So Skool has always made it pretty simple to switch between your communities. You can click the drop down here and you can toggle between your different communities. Basically, GoKollab copied this functionality, so it looks very similar. Now with Skool, you have much more control over your communities. So if I click on that little gear here, you can see all my communities here. I can pin them to the left-hand sidebar just like you can in GoKollab. Also, I can drag and drop the order that I want these communities to be in the switcher, so I can prioritize the ones that I want up top. And then also I can come into the membership settings here and I can control the notifications that I get from that community, which is a feature that GoKollab does not currently have. So Skool wins here as well. You just have way more control over the communities that you're a part of than you do with GoKollab. I'm sure GoKollab will improve this over time, but as of now, Skool wins. But the big win here for GoKollab is that they have the switching feature and you can move between different communities very easily. All right, so now let's compare the mobile app. So this is the GoKollab app, and when I go to do a fresh new sign in, I'm gonna click sign in. I'm gonna pause the video while I put my email address in here. All right, so now that I got my email address in here, I'm gonna click enter. And then you'll see that I get confronted with all of these different client portals. And this is a big friction point that, in my opinion, to getting your users to log into your actual community. So I've got all these client portals that I'm associated with. I don't even know what any of them are. They're just a bunch of letters and numbers. So there's no way that I can really identify what the hell these are until I find one that I actually know what it is. So I'm going to find mine here, and I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to click next, and then now I have to log in. So I'm going to use this sign in with secure code. So now I have to wait for them to send me an email with the code. So I'm going to go to my email, and now I have the code that just came through. So I'm going to type that in, 254175, and then it's going to verify me. And now, after jumping through all those hoops and trying to figure out which client portal I wanted to get logged into, I'm finally in. All right, so now we're in the Skool app. I'm gonna actually put in my login information, and then we'll log in. We'll see how much friction there is. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video while I do this. All right, so I've got my login information in there. I'm just gonna click login, and look how easy that is. Now I'm logged into my community. I've got all my communities up here. Now I don't ever have to log out ever again, okay? I'll show you why that is not the same case in GoKollab. All right, so we're back in the GoKollab app. I'm just going to kind of navigate around here. You can kind of make your decision whether you think the user friendliness is a little bit better with this app or with the Skool app. That's probably a little bit subjective, but the first thing that I want to do is I want to click on the little hamburger in the top left here, and this is a big issue. Now you can see that we do have the different communities that we can kind of switch between over here on the left hand side. The problem is these communities are not all the communities that are associated. If I were to log into the GoKollab app on the desktop, I would see way more communities. The only communities I'm seeing here are the communities that are associated with the client portal that I logged into when I logged into the mobile app. So to me, that is a big confusing issue. Where are the rest of my communities? Because I have way more communities if I log into the same exact email address on the GoKollab.com desktop app. So they need to fix that. I think that's coming soon. Also, when I click on the hamburger again, I have access to all my different channels in here. So these are the different categories of all your different posts inside the community. So you can kind of navigate to those pretty easily. At the top here, I can come in here and I can search for different posts that have maybe have my keywords in there. So if I look for book, it might pop up my book a call, anything I talked about, call booking or anything like that. So you have the search feature in there. You can look at your notifications here. So these apply, I believe, with all of your different communities. I'm not 100% sure with that. I think it does. And then your chat feature here, which also applies to all the different communities that you have access to chat through. Now on the bottom here, if I click on home, that's going to take us to our client portal. All right, so we have a whole tutorial on setting up communities in the GoHighLevel, but this is just a video on the GoKollab app, so I'm going to limit it to that. So that is the client portal. If I click on view group, that'll take me back to my community. We've got the discussion tab here, which is all the posts inside the community. We've got the learning tab, which takes us to all of our courses that are associated with this community. And then if I click the more feature here, we can get to the leaderboard, which is all around gamification and rewards. You can see what rewards we have. Well, can't do anything there. We can see the events that are coming up inside the community, and then we can kind of edit our settings and our profile. So that is the GoKollab app, just kind of the user friendliness of it. And I'll let you make your own decision on whether you like the kind of the interface there. Now let me actually go to the Skool app and we'll show you how different it looks. All right, so now we're in the Skool app. Now I'm not gonna comment on the user friendliness or how it looks because I think that's totally subjective. I'll give you my opinion if you wanna hear it. But let's kind of look around, navigate around, and show you the difference between Skool and the GoKollab app. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on the hamburger here. And you can see, as opposed to GoKollab, where I only can access the communities that are in the current client portal that I'm logged into, I only have one login with Skool, and I have access to all the communities that I have inside of that account. So it's very easy to get to the different communities. There's nothing limited here. I have access to all the communities that I have associated with that email address. Now, if I click on the settings here, I have the same settings in the mobile app as I do in the desktop app. So that's different as far as what you have available in the GoKollab app versus Skool. So everything that's in the desktop app is pretty much available inside of the mobile app. So that's pretty cool. Now, the difference in how you kind of navigate around. So Skool puts all their different tabs that you can navigate around to at the top. So you can see we've got our classroom here, where GoKollab would have it at the bottom. The calendar, I think you have to go to a special place to get to the actual calendar. Your members, again, you don't have access to all these different features in the GoKollab app. Now, inside the community, we can actually search based on a keyword, just like we could in GoKollab, and we can find the different posts that have that keyword in it. So that's kind of the same. We can invite people to our community by sending them our affiliate link. We can create our posts here. We can kind of click between the different categories. So this is like at the top here above the discussion, whereas with GoKollab, I would have to click the hamburgers and then go to the different channels that way. I think I like that across the top here. That's the way that Skool does it as opposed to GoKollab. So I can also kind of filter or sort my results by default, by the newest, by the top, so the most engaged, or hidden posts. I personally like the way that the posts look inside the Skool mobile app as opposed to the GoKollab app. I just think it's easier on the eyes and easier to see. I think the images are much smaller, so I like that feature. If I click on home, that's going to take you to the home page of the community that you're currently in, as opposed to GoKollab taking you to the client portal. Okay, so I don't really like going to the client portal. Again, I think the client portal should disappear personally. Now, the difference here is we have the chats at the bottom here, whereas in GoKollab it's at the top right. The notifications are also in the bottom as opposed to GoKollab, which are in the top right. And then we can click on our profile. Our profile is a little bit more robust here, so we can actually see what level we're at in that current community we're in. We can see the points that we need to level up to the next level. We can see our, what our profile description is. We can edit our profile here. We can see all the contributions we've made, all of our followers, all the people we're following. We can see our activity. We can see all the communities that we own. We can see all of the memberships we're a part of, and we can see all the contributions that we've made in all the communities that we're a part of. So I think this one's pretty clear. Skool has just a way better mobile app due to the lack of friction that it takes to get logged into the app itself. You don't have to choose from a bunch of client portals that you have no idea what they are. And then once you get logged in, you have access to all of your communities and not just the ones that are associated with the client portal that you just logged in. So for that, Skool is the clear winner for the mobile app. All right, so we showed you a lot of stuff today. We showed you the desktop version of GoKollab and Skool. We showed you the mobile app version, and we showed you how they function and kind of the differences between the two. I think it's pretty clear at this point by watching this video that Skool is a much better app right now. Now, GoKollab is making a lot of headway, and they're making a lot of efforts to actually compete, and I think they will very soon in the future. But right now, Skool is a better app. So thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.